there was a loud sound and everything around me started spinning. And out of thin air, a box appeared and said, I am the time machine and I'll take you to anywhere in the past. Get on and choose where to go. And then I woke up, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. That was my dream. We all dream about having a time machine because that will allow us to go back to the past and mainly change our significant decisions. Recently, I've been thinking if I had the opportunity, I'll go 1 month back and stop myself from chopping my long hair. Jokes apart, it is important that we have an option to go back and correct ourselves when we could make mistakes. Think about if you could go back to your younger self and advise him or her on what could be done better. That is what mentors are for. Mentors are people who have had the same experiences as us, went through the same obstacles as we do now, and with their gathered experience and knowledge, suggest us on what can be done better. Coming from a small town into Bangalore, the day I entered, I felt lost. Until college, everything was clear. People around me had similar goals, had similar journey, and we were all hustling towards similar goals. It was easier. But once I got out of college and went into the real world, it was hard because I saw everyone hustling, but their journeys were different, their goals were different, their ideas were different. I felt lost and I wasn't able to relate. That's when seniors from work gave a helping hand and insisted on what and how things could be done better. That was the first time I got introduced into the concept of mentoring. And then the pandemic had hit and the boundaries between life and work merged. I found it very difficult to manage and got stressed. That was when Toastmasters entered my life. One of the significant things that caught my eye was the mentorship program in Toastmasters. So let's talk about mentors in Toastmasters. As I said, mentors are same people as us, but they have some experiences. So the mentors in Toastmasters are people who have had the same difficulties as we do. The same lack of confidence, the stage fear, the inhibitions to go out of the comfort zone. But they have handled it well and they have suggestions for us to handle it better. This is what mentorship at Toastmasters is all about. I think it's time to introduce my Toastmasters mentor, Abhijit. For people who do not know him, which I doubt is not possible, but he is our area director, a member of a bunch of clubs, mentor to tens of people, and has made at least 300 friends this year. Having him as a mentor has been a great awakening and learning experience, and he has taught me so many things, helped me grow as a person in many ways. But I want to highlight 3 things he always insists. The first thing is to be empathetic. I saw and learned from him on how to be empathetic, how to put ourselves in their shoes and think from them. The second thing is to get out of your comfort zone. Nothing is inside your comfort zone and to always push. An example is he gives me a speech opportunity in the next 2 days. He pushes me to give an introduction to a professional speaker in a meeting. He makes me the Toastmaster in the second meeting that I join a new club. He constantly pushes me to go out of the comfort zone, and in some time, we realize that the extended boundary is our new comfort zone. The third thing is to see everything as an opportunity and grab it. The most recent example is that I noticed that we missed one speaker today. I saw that as an opportunity to practice the speech and I became the speaker. These 3 things are working like magic for me. The progress is very slow, but I can see myself getting more comfortable and pushing my comfort zone. This is what mentoring is all about. It is is not necessary that we actually tag someone as a mentor and we be the actual mentee, but there are people around us in everyday life who have valuable experiences and knowledge to share. There are people around us who are constantly having suggestions for us to make things better for us. I wanted this speech to be a reminder for everyone to think about their mentors and the times they have been mentees or mentors. I'll end with this question. Who was your first mentor? What was so special about them and why? Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dharini. That was a nice speech. That surely made me think of all my mentors. Now, let's pause 2 minutes for evaluation. Timer, can we have 2 minutes? We have the evaluation link
Yes.
at window. I think Dharini posted it. Thank you, Piyush. Let's move on to the second speech for the day, which is by Niharika. The title of her speech is Leaders Are Made and Not Born. It's a level 2 speech 1. Her evaluator will be Vivek. Vivek, can you walk us through the goals for Niharika's speech?
Hello, everyone. This is Niharika's first speech in level 2, Understanding Your Leadership Style. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of their leadership style or just talk about leadership styles in general. I will be looking out for basic speech evaluations like structure of the speech, content of the speech, vocal and voice variety. Yeah, back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Vivek. Leaders are made and not born, Niharika. Niharika, leaders are made and not born.
Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others around you, said Jack Welch. Being a student and new to the corporate world, my own development had been my only goal till now. I have never taken being a leader seriously, maybe. But they say you don't need a title to be a leader. Just a little extra share of responsibility makes you a leader. I was asked to teach my sister, and my reaction was, "What, me? I study myself. Why does she even need me to teach her? She can very well do it herself." Instead of this reaction, I could have maybe provided her the reference materials which I'm aware of, maybe point her to the lead whom she can ask doubts to. Agree that I will try to solve her doubts if I know, and lastly, keep motivating her to complete her goals. Dear fellow Toastmasters, leadership is about helping out others grow in all your capacity, and you can very well start it even today and whenever you think of it. The other opportunity where I was to apply my leadership was during my master's thesis, where I had to guide two of the UG students. I was asked to teach them fabrication, and I realized one thing: when I am a leader, I make friends with my juniors, and it's a process of teaching and learning. I did learn from them COMSOL simulation, which was required for our research, and taught them fabrication. So, what I realize is my leadership is a collaborative approach. I agree that I am always ready to take risks, even if that means some extra time. That is a great attribute for an innovative leader. This leader encourages innovative ideas. He motivates by providing respect for team members' creativity. This leader invites collaborative conversation. This leadership style is most effective when solving complex problems. The classic example of innovative leader is Steve Jobs, none other than CEO of Apple. Innovative leaders are creative visionaries who have big ideas and, most importantly, can motivate people around them to turn those ideas into reality. An innovative leader needs a powerful imagination and excellent communication skill. An innovative leader needs to recognize when her project is not working and be willing to kill it, no matter how much emotional involvement has been put into the project. I agree that I'm a good motivator for people around me because my friends say that I motivate them by appreciating their qualities. And motivation is provided with appreciation. I allow every stakeholder to have a say in the decision making process. I believe that decision made with multiple inputs makes the decision better and it is backed with a lot of experience and perspective. This justifies the democratic leadership trait in me. Here, the leader is comfortable allowing others to take the lead occasionally. This leader motivates by providing opportunities for participation. This leader uses collaborative and communication to receive inputs from team members. This style is ineffective when time is limited or if team members do not have the knowledge or expertise to make quality contribution. This approach is most effective when the knowledge of the entire team is needed to solve the problem. Distributing responsibility among the members, empowering group members, and aiding the group's decision making process. The key to letting subordinates take part in the decision making to, is used to build a mature team with experience and cooperative people. Democratic team are not capable of making good decisions, are capable of making good decisions, and they support the group's goal even when their own suggestions aren't adopted. Democratic leaders are involved in the decision making process. Indra Nooyi is the greatest example of this leadership. A major characteristic among democratic leaders is inclusiveness. These leaders are known as big innovators and strong collaborators. But it is rightly said, leaders are not born but are made, and we need to adopt and apply the leadership style according to the circumstances. Do give a thought to your leadership style. And if you think you miss any of the style which is required for your current role, you can always achieve it by practice and perseverance. Over to you, Sai.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Simon, can we have 2 minutes for the evaluation?
Ravi, too much room above your head. Yeah. Hmm. Perfect. Yeah. Good.
Time up.
Sai, you are on mute.
Sai,
Hey,
you are
Sai.
on mute.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Thank you, Piyush, and thanks Niharika as well for walking us through the different leadership styles. The next speaker is Ravi, and the title of his speech is Waves of Fear. His evaluator will be Tejal. Tejal, can you walk us through the goals of Ravi's speech?
Sure, Toastmaster. This is Ravi's level 3 speech for Project Inspire Your Audience. The goal of the speech is to deliver a well prepared content and inspire the audience with the speech. I'll be evaluating Ravi on how well he's able to engage the audience, inspire them, and also how well Ravi is able to interact with the audience. Good luck, Ravi. Waves of fear, Ravi.
Thank you, Tejal. Waves of Fear, Ravi. Ravi, Waves of Fear.
Suddenly, a big wave came and took away my daughter. In one instinct, she was
You're on mute, Ravi.
Ravi, you're on.
Suddenly, a big wave came and took away my daughter. In one instinct, she was playing on the beach, and on the second instance, she's 20 feet away from the shore. With every passing second, she was moving away from the shore. She is my only child. Toastmasters and guests, this is the story of my fear. Growing up, I used to go swimming with my grandfather in a big river. The day one of my younger cousins decided to join us. This guy is so good, he kept swimming from shore to shore. And I kept following him with fake swimming. Fake swimming is just like swimming, except you don't use your feet to swim. Instead, you use them to walk on the riverbed. This guy is swimming like this, and I am following him, looking at him, and overtaking him. Suddenly, my feet stopped touching the riverbed. In an instant, I thought I learned how to swim. But when I realized my head going underwater, I confirmed I was drowning. The next thing that I remember is looking deep into my grandfather's eyes, who is giving me air resuscitation. It is pretty traumatic to learn that your grandfather is your first kisser. That is the first time I saw my fear of water. I have decided never to go close to water, and I have decided to avoid my fear. 20 years later, on my honeymoon in Maui, my wife said, "Honey, let's go swimming with dolphins." And swimming with dolphins, they take you to a tank full of dolphins. The dolphins come to you and you take pictures with them. And that's it, you're done. But for this particular package, they put us on a boat, made us wear wetsuit, life jacket, snorkeling gear, and they took us into the ocean. Some of these guys are so intense, they were spitting into their snorkeling gear. I thought, wow. The instructor took us to the edge of the boat, and he said, "You're going down in 3." I looked at my wife with disbelief. She looked at me with excitement. 1, 2, and my wife pulled me on 2. She was too excited. The guy who never wanted to be in a bathtub is now in the middle of Pacific Ocean. I can't see a thing through those foggy goggles because I did not spit into them. I can't breathe because my snorkeling gear is upside down, and I can't swim. That day, my wife had to rescue me. That day, I wasn't drowning in the water because I was wearing life jacket, but I was drowning in my own fear. That incident made me learn how to swim and made me train for a year. Recently, we went to the beach to celebrate my daughter's 7th birthday. We were sitting on the beach watching my daughter play on the beach 100 feet away. Suddenly, a big wave came and stole away my daughter. In one instant, she was playing on the beach, and on the second instant, she is 20 feet away from the shore. With every passing second, she is moving away from the shore. Suddenly, I ran towards her, jumped into the water, swam towards her, and caught hold of her. I was holding her in my left hand, and I was swimming towards the shore with my right. No matter how hard I tried, the waves kept dragging us back. We were struggling to escape the grips of those waves for a full 5 minutes. My biggest fear at the time was letting go of her. After a while, when the waves got tired of toying with us, they tossed us onto the shore. I looked at my daughter to see if she's all right. She's smiling. There I was, lying on the beach, breathing heavily and thinking deep. What would have happened if I did not overcome my fear? What would have happened if I did not know how to swim? What would have happened if I was not ready? This incident made me realize waves are a lot like fear. They're huge, they are strong, and they are scary. And there is no way around them. The only way is over them. There is no way to avoid waves in the ocean of your life. There is only over them. Toastmasters and guests, what is the story of your fear? Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ravi. I really liked your speech. Your speech actually reminded me that I should also learn swimming. From now let's go to the second part of the meeting, which is the table topics master. Dharini is the table topic
Two
master for
minutes.
today.
You need evaluation.
Let's pause 2 minutes for evaluation. Thank you, Piyush. Now, let's move on to the second part of the meeting, which is table topics. Dharini is the table topics master for today. Over to you, Dharini.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone, for today's table topic session. I have some questions, and let's explore our creative side. The questions would be in such a way that we can get creative, and we'll have 1 to 2 minutes to answer that question. So, all the best. Let's have fun. The first question, Akshita, are you there? Can you take our first question? Okay, then we'll move to Anu. Anu, can you? So your question is, if you could have one of the cartoon characters come to life and be your friend, which character would you want to be your friend?
I would want to be friends with Tom in Tom and Jerry. So that was one cartoon which I used to enjoy growing up. That was one of the very few cartoons which I used to watch. And I always wanted Tom to kill Jerry. The reason being, whenever I visited my grandparents' home, they used to have a tapioca farming and they used to have these rats which destroy crops. So I had this hatred towards rats, and Jerry was the bad guy
when I was 3 or 4 years old while I was watching that cartoon, and I always wanted Tom to kill Jerry, but that never happened. So I used to feel bad for him. So I just want to be friends with him and tell him it's okay to fail getting hold of Jerry. Yeah, back to you then.
Thank you, Anup. Even I remember the number of episodes I used to hate Tom for all, Jerry for all that we did for Tom. Thank you for bringing that up. Next question, I think I'll ask Boris something related to what Anup started. Who was the Jerry to your Tom? So if you were the Tom, who is the Jerry to your Tom in real life?
Who was the Jerry to if I am the Tom? That's the thing that I have never catched, right? I think the Jerry would be. I think actually the Jerry would be some kind of brave me. As um, today's speakers are telling about fears, I think that I'm always pursuing to conquer my fears. And the Jerry is that the brave me, the brave side of me that don't fear anything, don't fear about the waves, and also don't fear about the being a leader, or don't fear about being have our own career goal. So I think I'm always the Tom that is chasing the brave me, but sometimes he fails, but the techniques get better and better, and Tom also gets smarter and smarter. So we are always having the loop of chasing Jerry. So in conclusion, I think we are always in the road of bring the better of us, and also use those to revolutionize ourselves. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Boris. I think we have time for one more question, and I'll ask that to Nikhil. Nikhil, if there's something we can carry from the cartoon world to the real world, what would you want to carry?
So there's something I would carry from the cartoon world. I feel in these cartoons, what happens is sometimes in the middle of the cartoon, you'll have some problems, some fights, some this and that. But at the end of every cartoon, I've always felt there's a very happy ending at the end. So I think that is something I will always carry forward from a cartoon. Like no matter what happens, I feel the end is always going to be good. It's always going to be great, and it's like you just have to keep at it, keep doing your stuff, and the end is always, always, always beautiful. That is one thing. I don't watch a lot of cartoons, but as the one thing I remember from watching cartoons is like everything is messed up, but then at the end it all just works out. So that's one thing I'll carry forward from a cartoon. Back to you, Dharni.
Thank you, Nikhil. Such a nice thing to carry forward. But I was thinking if that the gravity will not work until Tom sees down. If we could carry that to the real world, we can actually jump across the mountains. Yeah, that's a fun. Thank you so much. I think due to time, I'll pass it on back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dharini. That was a really fun set of table topics. Now, I believe Masters has the ability to revolutionize your speaking abilities. But how is that possible without evaluations? Now let's move on to the third phase of the meeting, which is evaluation. Our general evaluator, Nikhil, will take us through this phase. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Toastmasters. So this is the third phase and the most important phase. So let's start off with Abhijit. for the first evaluation.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially you, Dharani. Actually, your speech reminded me of my ruminations this morning. I was going through various years and I was thinking, what could I have done better? And one mistake I found is I should have joined Toastmasters earlier. So thank you, Dharani, for sharing your speech. Here are the things you did effectively. The first thing I enjoyed is you were back in your element. It's like, holy cow, it took me so long to see you that. Like, it's a great journey. It's great to see you that you're back in your comfort level. Because I've seen you in last 1 month, it was going up and down, and this was a big relief. It's like, wow. So thank you so much for getting back into your element. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. The next thing, I love the subtle humor when you said, oh, you would chop your long hair if you could, if you would stop yourself from chopping your long hair if you had the time machine going back 1 month. So that was funny, made me smile. The third thing, I really enjoyed the anecdote, the way you started your speech. It's like, oh, how is she relating that with her speech on mentoring? And the way you did it, I really enjoyed that. That stood out for me. Here are a couple of some minor nitpicks that can help you to make your speech more effective. The first thing, I felt that, oh, you had that opportunity to use your hair as your prop. You can show it like that will make it more effective. It will like grab the audience's attention more. Okay, so you can use your hair as a prop. The second thing, I feel you can conclude your speech differently. I feel in this speech, you can have a very strong call to action. You can even say that this has inspired me to become a mentor. And I hope you will also be a mentor to someone else, because I think we want to continue that chain. The third thing, in your examples, the three things about your mentor, I feel the one thing you can add is one problem which your mentor helped you to overcome, because that will keep the audience engaged. Overall, you can use your hair as a prop. You can conclude with a stronger call to action. You can have a problem which your mentor helped you to overcome. And the three things you did very effectively. The first thing is you were back in your element. That was really enjoyable to see. The second thing, I really enjoyed the subtle humor of the time machine. And the third thing, the anecdote which you started your speech and the way you connected with your overall speech, that stood out for me. Back to you, Sir General Evaluator.
Thank you, Abhijit, for the inspiring feedback. Next, we've call upon Vivek for the second evaluation.
Dear Toastmasters and fellow guests, Niharika, your speech took me back to the days when I first joined Nvidia and people were already putting some responsibility and they were scaring and they were asking me to help them out. That was really scary, and that your speech reminded me that. Two things you did really well out of many other things were your structure of your speech was really good. You started with yourself, that you are your own leader, and then you went on that your sister, you have become a leader for your sister, and then you became a leader for a bunch of people during your masters. So the structure in that way was really good. And the second thing which I really liked was the usage of pauses. You used pauses in a particular way, like when I'm a leader, I did this, and I will do this and this. So the pauses had increased the effectiveness of the speech, and it made me curious. Okay, when you were a leader, what would you do? So that was really good. Two things I would like you to improve upon to make your speech go to the next level is the pace which you used in this speech. I thought in few selective areas when you were talking about leadership style in general, like what are the traits of democratic leadership style. You used a little bit more pace, and I guess I skipped one or two statements. I didn't hear it properly. So you can lower down your pace there. And the second thing was, in your speech, you used many different examples of Steve Jobs and Indra Nooyi. I thought you could have used more of your examples, like your own personal examples, how you showed your leadership skills. So overall, pace and using your own examples could have improved your speech. And I really liked the pauses and the structure of your speech. Overall, it was a really great speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vivek. Next, we move on to the third evaluation, that is from Tejal.
Ravi, this is the best speech I've heard since I was born, probably. I wish I didn't have to do this evaluation because I wanted to be drenched and soaked in the waves of your speech. It was amazing. I realized I had to start the evaluation soon. Coming to the things which I would like to say among the whole bunch of things I want to say. Firstly, your facial expression. The contrast in your facial expression when you were talking about the fearful experience of swimming with your daughter versus the fun part when you were with your grandfather, that was so contrasting. It made the picture come live in front of my eyes. The other example is the expression of your wife and you when you were on that dolphin ride. It was so contrasting, and I would really like to applaud you for being able to do such expressions. The second thing I want to talk about is gestures. The demo of your fake swimming, it made me realize how important gestures are to a speech. Your statement of you were doing the fake swimming and you're with just with just walking with your hands, it was very clear what fake swimming was. But when you acted it out, it just made the scene so memorable that the humor and the picture it created is still fresh in my mind. Also, your wife pulling your shirt, right, on the count of two. These gestures, they added to the humor, which was not present otherwise with your delivery, right? So your gestures convinced me how important gestures are. Your speech convinced me how important gestures are. And lastly, I want to speak about the humor. Using humor to inspire is something very rare. And I mean, the traumatic experience of your first kiss, I would always remember this line of having your first kiss with your grandfather. Amazing. I mean, these jokes are going to stay with me forever. Now I'm going to really nitpick on things which you can improve upon. So one thing is when you're not really acting or doing some gestures, I felt there was this mirrored action you kept doing with your hands and you kept leaning into the screen. So it was this how you when you wanted to make a point. It you could just probably improve on that consciously to have not something do something mirrored. Do it with your single hand or but it's just a nitpick again. Also, I felt you pronounced few times incorrectly. Maybe it was me who heard it incorrectly, but I felt like you pronounced daughter as daughter, or or maybe it was just maybe it was just for the speech. And one small recommendation is maybe we can reduce the use of zooming into the lens for only the crucial points. And I felt it was overused. So when it kept happening over and over again, I lost uh, it didn't add to the speech when it kept happening over and over again. One last thing, the best part of your speech was delivering the message with humor and delivering it with such great content that there's no way around the wave to go over it. It still gave me goosebumps. I I would like to end saying that this speech has to be recorded and has to reach out larger audience. So not just these 12 people, but so many of us get inspired in the best way possible. I have to say thank you. Thank you, Ravi, for this wonderful experience. I'm glad I didn't skip the meeting today. Kudos to you, Ravi. Kudos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tejal. All right. So now let's go on to Piyush for the timers report.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster. I think we are doing pretty good, just about overtime. So for the prepared speeches section, we have